Unfortunately, I don't know a lot about the federal acts or the ones that go back almost 100 years.
Yeah. A lot of times the judges leave it up to actually officer discretion on what's substantial and what's not.
There is a BLM definition of substantial, and I believe it's about.
Slow down! I know every one of you were speeding. Slow down! Just by the sound of their bikes, they're going 60 through there.
New bikes.
And then somebody will take him out like Jerry Hobbs did that one day, coming down with his Cadillac, the guy leaning into his lane.
And you mentioned you guys got court cases coming up. I mean, you guys are utilizing the system.
Yeah, no, yeah,
we could be in China right now.
Yeah, well, it's getting They own half the country anyway, don't they?
Yeah, no kidding.
Everything we buy is ridiculous. That's why I think they're kicking everybody out of the force.
But I know what you mean.
You don't borrow trillions of dollars without having collateral.
But you know what I mean. You're using the system that's available to you. Hopefully, everybody contributes. You guys, I don't know, guys.
Yeah,
part of
no,
a
we do.
prospecting organization.
Yeah,
they got funding for court cases.
Public lands are people.
They're grassroots movements that provide for your rights, and what you want to do.
Oh yeah, we're part of it.
The law is not making you happy because the current law. You just mentioned one that you must have studied.
And what sucks is we end up having to get a citation just to get a judge to decide on it.
It's better I warn you now that instead of being as lax like we have been, I'm going to start coming down here.
That's cool. I'll go to that organization. All right, we'll go from there.
He's going to check a smoke.
And as he says, can I interpret substantial? I have to have someone else do it for me.
No, that's understand. I understand. Because if you don't want to quote something you don't know.
That's right. Like you said, I can find it. I have to either go on Google Dictionary.
Well, try to look up that Watershed Act. You'll never find it in it.
All right. What did you say? No, I want you to repeat that. What did you say about the court? What did the court say about your discretion on substantial?
The judges are my experience with them.
Experience, I like that word.
Is they're leaving a lot of officer discretion up to the officer. What's reasonable? So again, if I went down there today and see what I see, it's not reasonable. I'm quite sure a judge would side with me that there's substantial resource damage. That's what I'm saying.
And what happens when an officer has to go against the...
Well, we'd have to bring up paperwork or legal documents stating otherwise.
You have to find out evidence.
Yeah,
in other words, the burden of proof is on you. That's how the court works.
Well,
it's always been like that.
And like I say, we can take a lot of work, but we do find certain things that, like the BLM thing, they're definitely substantial. That's always been a crazy gray area. Like nobody's ever come up with what exactly would be considered. I mean, I don't know.
I believe I'm a reasonable officer. I think you guys
can
actually stand behind that.
No, I know. You're one of the few. I'd rather have you than Mr.
I'm going to do what's reasonably right for you guys and for me and for the law.
No,
okay?
You've always...
It's a shame, I wear this patch and people say, oh, it's a greenie. He's one of those guys that biases with the greenies. No,
I don't think you do. From what I'm hearing.
The thing is that I have to be non-biased, and I have to basically look at the law, the letter of the law, and how it's written.
Unfortunately, I think the head guy now, what is it, fishing game? Got appointed. He's a green.
He's a former member of the trout. What was that? Rainbow trout.
Yeah, he used to be a head of president of some environmental group too.
No, vice president. A trout organization. Yeah. He's like a Trout Unlimited.
Yeah, and they're totally against prospectors.
I suppose when you mix mining with.
That's what I don't think. If you're appointed to an office like that,
but the law hasn't changed.
Shouldn't be a conflict.
Yeah, you shouldn't be a conflict.
If you're a fisherman, where do you catch the fish? In deep holes. How are you going to get deep holes unless there's a dredge there?
Lakes.
Lakes.
But what about rivers? Some rivers are shallow holes.
This river here is mostly
Alaska,
shallow.
but that's when they're mating. The salmon are spawning. They don't bite when they're spawning.
Well, that's not for me to decide.
No, I understand.
Where it's deep, where it's not.
That's where the fish usually hang out, in deep holes.
For refuge, actually.
So, I mean, how is dredging... If the fish thrive on these holes,
I can answer that.
And when I clean my sluice box out, I see all kinds of little red worms crawling around in my miner's moss, and I see these fish down here about this far away from my nozzle, and they're feeding like crazy on something. I mean, how can I feel I'm endangering these fish?
Yeah, you're working right here, right? right here, just below where we're standing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
I've
you're with
been
me so
working-
far.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I've been,
you work here, you see all that damage on the opposite bank there and everything like that. And you say, there's no fish here, it's too shallow. Okay, I'll go with that. However, what's downstream of this river? What river, what other system's downstream? There's,
A highly
goes
polluted
into
we call
lake.
it the main San Gabriel River Canyon, right?
Yeah, but then the
And that
Morris-
river goes into where?
Morris
San-
Dam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Morris
goes into the
Dam.
dam.
That's
It's
a
a
big,
lake.
but that's a big polluted mess
Okay.
from the Navy.
Now, Morris Dam, even though it's a big body of water, the water is being used. That's why it was dammed up.
Well,
And then it turns into another stream, and there's a canal somewhere, and then continues
it's
to
all
release
dammed
water.
up all the way down.
By law, they have to release water because there's fish even further downstream. So if the fish aren't here, they're definitely somewhere down
But
below.
thus, that conservation thing in the 28 Watershed Act
Yeah.
is now achieved by the dam of the river.
You mean no water being released?
No, the 28 Watershed Act says for conservation of water and reforestation of the forest. Well, now you got conservation because you got your dams.
You're saying the Forest Service is using the water, or the people down below?
No, Pasadena Water Company is
Oh, I
actually
see.
the one that owned Morris Dam in the first place.
I do remember talking to the water district years ago. But anyway, but the whole
But, you
idea
know-
is, even though you may not find fish in, let's say, a
Well,
bone
there's
dry
big
canyon,
carp in that dam.
your whatever you're doing on that bone dry canyon is going to affect miles and miles and miles of that canyon downstream.
So as soon
where
as we
fish
leave
do
here,
it. You
follow
understand what I'm
me.
saying?
Wait at OHV. Park,
It's a
you
common
can pull
art.
off
That's
a
why I
big
did.
wide
I'll just
spot,
pull off with that.
Question.
and then I'll go get your stuff.
Okay. Well, you know it's one's.
I'll probably go over and figure out where it's at, come back and get you, and
Okay.
then we'll go. You can ID it.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Because of the confusion that maybe there wasn't enforcement going down there, today's the day we're setting the record straight.
Well, that's cool.
We're going to
Yeah.
be talking to people, say, hey, look, we know what the law is. We just haven't been enforcing it. We're supposed to enforce this, what you guys pay us for. We got to do it. And today's the day. I mean,
That's cool. I'll go-
not putting the
I'll-
blame on Mike. Mike's overwhelmed.
No,
I
no,
mean,
that's
there was a lot he was dealing with, and I didn't realize when he called. This is the first time I looked at it since this moratorium started. I didn't realize that was still going on. That's a lot of damage. I got to tell all the other wardens because they don't even know what's going on up here.
I just had a problem when you taking the equipment and not going by your own regulations. 262.12 that states impounding of personal property or anything.
Because he was waiting for me.
No, I'm just saying.
You know, yeah.
Even though it's legal, in that 262.12, it says for trespass, which is an illegal thing too. So, you know, you're supposed to give warning before you, you know.
Well, I can take anything under evidence because there's a violation.
I understand, but why wouldn't they go by their own regulations?
I really should be giving you a cite before I give you your stuff back
Yeah.
because it is. I took it as evidence.
Okay. But you know what I'm saying? No, your own regulations in the law enforcement part state you got to go through a procedure to impound camping equipment inanimate objects. You know what I mean?
Were you there?
Unless it's evidence. If
I
it's
wasn't there,
evidence-
but it says in there if the owner's
Okay.
not known, you got to
if it's evidence of a crime, then I can take it anytime, any
Okay.
place.
Prima facie
And
evidence.
there's also
I mean,
government.
if say it was
There's also government property down there found in amongst your stuff.
what was the government property?
I'm not going to tell you, but
What my stuff? Trust me, I have a backpack with a bottle
it was
of
identifiable government property
with a stock number on it. Really?
in this group of stuff.
Really?
So you're claiming
I can
two.
try to pin that on you,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
but
don't
Take
think.
fingerprints. It ain't
that-
on my fingerprints. So don't touch that
So
shit.
you're claiming 2 shovels,
2 shovels,
Yeah.
3 sluice boxes,
3 sluice boxes.
and prime boxes.
Government shovels? No, just kidding.
Let's just say government property.
You guys been very cooperative recently.
Oh no,
And
we're
of
not.
course, I
We're
hope
not
I was
gonna.
able to
We're
give
not
you
here to.
information
You know.
know.
We know we're not
You
here
need to learn, you know,
Yeah.
because, I mean,
It's just too many
Guys,
years.
what happened here wasn't your fault. What happened here was my lack of enforcement. I wasn't here to patrol this area. I didn't realize how damaging it was. And now the Forest Service pointed it out to me. I got to do my job.
What's your?
That's all it was. Just my lack of not coming.
Well,
to
then I
enforcement.
know you guys, the funding and all that crap. You know, I mean, you get the everywhere.
Yeah.
But you know, we appreciate that you know information. You know,
Yeah.
it's exchanging information.
Okay, so man, you're gonna go get your sluice box so we go watch the Giants win?
Who's going to win?